And welcome into the Wheelhouse, your Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle every Sunday morning with you on this platform. Don't forget to go to all of our socials on Facebook, X, like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Spotify channel, Instagram, and you can also catch us on Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music as well. And make sure you head over to our home base, e5280sports.com, for all the latest that we come out with as well. And that includes all of our podcasts, whether it's video, audio, and articles as well, and catch the latest news in sports from around the world. Matt, how are you this morning?
I am doing wonderful. It's a nice day outside. I'm enjoying the day so far. I've been out walking around early this morning, and it's nice out there. And we're ahead of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's like this week. This kind of year's been going by, or the summer, or I don't know what you want to call it. It's been going by pretty quick.
It flew by. Question: So you just mentioned Thanksgiving. You doing anything big? You got your turkey ready?
Oh, I'm gonna get the turkey going. I'm going. I usually do the cooking over here, and having family over and watch some football, drink some. The only time I drink wine is on Thanksgiving Day. I really don't drink wine, and it's not even. I don't know if you want to call it wine. I like to drink sangria, so I'm looking for a cup of sangria. Looking forward to a cup of sangria.
I thought you were gonna say Glowvine, like Dwight Schrute used to drink, but the old Belschnickel.
The old Belschnickel tradition. God, there's just some great episodes of holiday episodes from that show.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we just did an all Office?
Oh, we could do it. We could totally do it.
Yes, we could. And you just mentioned football basically all week this week, so we'll get into that, as obviously 3 games on Thanksgiving, 1 on Black Friday, so that's new.
That's going to be interesting because it's on what channel is that on? Is that an Amazon game?
Yeah, it's a Prime.
It's a Prime game, yep.
It's a Prime game, so we'll get into all of that. More women's basketball to consume if you haven't consumed enough already, as a new league is set to debut. We will get into that as well, and all of it is encapsulated by Fire and Ice.
It's now time for Fire.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
It's on fire.
I'm only one of burning desire. Let me stand next to your fire.
And Ice.
Ice Cube, baby.
You're as cold as ice. Ice, baby.
All right, man, where do you want to start off this morning?
Let's start with Fire. Fire.
The old fire trick, huh?
Fire.
Right. We just
Fired guy.
Nice, Kev. We just touched on it. More women's basketball to consume. If you haven't heard, or if you don't care, we're going to tell you anyway. But there's a new league, Matt, coming out, and these 3-on-3 leagues are just, I guess, for lack of a better term, and I guess pun intended, on fire, because you have the Ice Cube League, you had the 3-on-3 in the Olympics, and now the women's side of things are going that route as well, coming out with a league called Unrivaled. Now, there's going to be 6 teams, Matt. You have the Laces, you have the Lunar Owls, you have the Mist, you have the Phantom, the Rose, and Vinyl are the 6 teams that are going to be competing in this league. If we look at the Laces, obviously there's going to be some familiar names. How about Plum Dog, Kelsey Plum on that team, Courtney Williams from the Minnesota Lynx on that team, Kayla McBride on that team, and then you have Alyssa Thomas, and one of our favorites, Matt, Kate Money Martin,
Yep.
rounds out the laces.
Kmart. No Kate Clarkland. Katie, no Cece.
No Cece.
No Cece. No.
She's taking probably some much deserved time off from basketball.
Yep. No Angel Reese.
No Angel Reese.
No Angel Reese. I mean, that's you saw in the Olympics, right? Like, I don't even remember who won that 3-on-3 league. Or the Olympic, like it was there all of a sudden, no clue it even existed, and you're kind of like throwing girls together. Haley Van Lith was on a squad with a bunch of other college girls.
Well,
Haley
I
Van
know
Lith,
that Cameron Brink was supposed to play,
but she got hurt. Right, she was injured. Is she gonna be is she gonna be healthy enough this year? Because I'm real curious about that. But anyway, I'm not shocked to not see, like, I mean, you got Kelsey Plum there. You just named him off. Kelsey Plum's a big star. I think she's a big star in the WNBA. She's maybe not quite as, name recognized as Caitlin Clark is, as you just saw her this past week or this couple weeks ago go in the Pro-Am Golf Tour, or golf tournament, I should say. So I think it's just going to add. I enjoy watching the Ice Cube's Big Three. I don't know if you've watched it very often, but I enjoy watching that. So I'll give it a watch. I'll watch it, and I'll see what it looks like and what we got, and maybe we can win. The USA can win the next Olympics or something. I don't know. That's something to look forward to.
Germany beat Spain in the women's 3-on-3 league.
Yeah, those Germans, man, they are loaded when it comes to 3-on-3s.
So I want to finish these rosters off over on the Lunar Owls. You have Skylar Diggins-Smith. You have Natasha Cloud from Phoenix. You have Alicia Gray. And let's see. Nafisa Collier. There you go. Mm-hmm. And Shakira Austin makes up the team for the Lunar Owls over on the Mist. The Mist, Matt. How about nicknamed the Gold Mamba, which is Jewel Lloyd.
Yeah. You
have Courtney Vandersloot from the championship New York Liberty. And you have my girl, Dejanay Carrington from the Connecticut Sun. Aaliyah Edwards, big UConn star, on that team as well. Brianna Stewart, we all know what she's about. And Rakia Jackson, the rookie, well, not rookie anymore, from the LA Sparks, make up the Mist. Over on the Phantom, Matt, you have Jackie Young from the Vegas Aces, Tiffany Hayes from the Vegas Aces, your girl right here, Marina Mabry.
Yep.
There you go. And also Brittany Griner makes up the Phantom squad. Over on the Rose, Matt, you have the Point God, and they spell God, of course, Gawd, and that is Chelsea Gray from the Vegas Aces. Brittany Skies on that team. Kalia Copper, pretty good player from the Phoenix Mercury as well. Azura Stevens on that team. And your girl is playing, by the way. 305 Barbie.
She is playing?
Angel Reese is on this team, man.
I thought she gave up basketball to do podcasts and content on.
Nope. She might be podcasting maybe from the bench or maybe just live with a microphone.
Well, she's got a 3-point shot now. I don't know if you've seen that, Mike. She has a long range shot now.
We'll see.
So she's not just going to be cleaning up the glass. She's going to be draining 3-pointers too.
There you go. She needed to work on something. And then rounding out this team, Matt, our girl Lexi Hull me some Lexi. Make up the Rose. All right, last team, Matt, over on Vinyl. Obviously, you have Arike Adumawali is on this team. Let's see what else we got. Ryan Howard from the Atlanta Dream on this team as well. Darika Hamby from the LA Sparks on this team, Aaliyah Boston on this team as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ray Burrell on this team. So there are your rosters for the new unrivaled league. Should be interesting.
Should be.
Interesting. All these games start January 17th, by the way, and broadcasted on TNT. So you should be able to watch it if you.
I'll be watching.
Yeah.
I'm locked in. I'll watch it. Like it's like you said, it's another way to consume women's basketball if you're not watching, like the overseas stuff. The girls play that over there too.
Yeah, and a lot of them have to come back over for this. I don't know if you saw, by the way, Camila Cardoso playing in China.
Mm-hmm. I did.
It's really unfair.
It it looks funny, to say the least. It just she's so tall. She's so tall and so kind of like just physically dominant that it's like, oh my.
Yeah, it's really, really not fair for the rest of the teams over there. All right, Matt, next on the fire list, it was a crazy slate of games in college football yesterday with a lot of college football playoff indications. A lot of teams controlled their own destiny. Some teams screwed up their own destiny. Yeah. And especially we'll start right here in our backyard, Matt, in Colorado. They go to Kansas. They're playing where, Patty Mahomes slings it around over at Arrowhead. And what happened, Matt? I mean, this was just a sloppy game. It just looked like, I want to say they almost looked uninterested. And like Prime said, Coach Prime said, they started smelling themselves. They got used to the success and marinated in it and just really wasn't focused. Although Travis Hunter had 2 touchdowns in this game, Shador was pressured almost all game. Just a sloppy game from CU. They were ranked 16 going in. We'll see what the AP poll.
This knock them out, for sure.
We'll see what the AP polls do to them today. I mean, this was just a bad loss.
The only saving grace you can maybe get from this is that Kansas was ranked coming into the season. They have reeled off, I think that was their third straight win or fourth straight win against ranked opponents. I mean, you got to think they came off beating BYU. They beat, was it Arizona State or Iowa State? I think it's Iowa State they beat, who was sitting up there. And then now you beat the Buffaloes. It was shocking to see. I wouldn't anticipate a coaching staff that has Deion Sanders, Warren Sapp, and just a lot of other type of players, type of dogs that I would think. I was shocked to see how that defense was not prepared to play at all yesterday. And they never got on track. The entire game, they never got on track. And it was this was a glaring thing to me that like you said, and Deion even said it, they're smelling themselves. A success is intoxicating, and they were smelling it. They were all over it. Like, that's one way to put it. But I think this proves or shows that if this team did, there's a couple things that I was shocked about this football team in general is their unwillingness just to push the ball to, and I know you mentioned what Travis Hunter's day was like. He was over 100 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Defensively, was good. Almost had a pick. There's a lot to be. Travis Hunter played well. Shedeur Sanders played well. The rest of this team was not even there with him. And I was shocked on the offensive side of how they didn't just feed Travis Hunter. In that situation, you want your best players to get you out of they had it. They had it right there. All they had to do was score at the end of the half, which is what they did, but they couldn't stop Kansas, which was mind-boggling to me. It's not like you were surprised at what Kansas was going to do. You knew they were going to come and run the football. You knew they were going to do that. You knew Daniels was going to run around the field. You knew that. You freaking knew it, and you still let them do it. There was no adjustment at halftime from Livingston like there usually is. So this was all around a terrible effort, like Coach Prime said, a terrible defensive effort. They were not up and ready to go for this game. They don't control their own destiny anymore. They need like 3 teams to win games that it's not. It doesn't look like those teams are going to win, but there's a lot that needs to happen for CU to make the Big 12 championship game. But you can almost 100% say that they will not make the CFB playoff. They're out. They're done.
Yeah, that's looking grim. And they weren't even really beat through the air, Matt. I mean, Daniel he had 189 yards and a touchdown. I mean, Kansas ran it down their throat, Matt. I mean,
Literally.
Devin Neal had 37 carries for 207 yards and 3 touchdowns by himself.
Yeah.
By himself. If it was just him scoring, I mean, he had 21 points basically by himself. And Daniels also ran for 72 yards as well.
Yeah.
They had 333 rushing yards, almost doubled their passing yards.
They had like over 300 yards of offense in the first half. It was just a terrible performance by that defense. And I don't know any other way to put it, they just got their asses kicked. And there was people trying to say that Prime got out coached. I don't know if Prime got out coached because that's what they do. That's what Kansas does. And there was some coaching decisions that I was kind of like that might have really screwed this up. Was when, I don't know if you noticed when first of all, when coach from Kansas, when he decided to kick the field goal at the end of half, I thought that was a mistake. I thought that was something that could lose them this football game, because you score a touchdown there, like you're really setting up a big. I mean, you're going into halftime after they just drove down the field and score or had a long pass play to Travis to score. Then you come right back with them within a minute and score, make it easy. So I thought that they had a potential to get an upset there or to lose all the momentum, but they didn't. And then CU declined a holding penalty to make it 2nd and 11 instead of 1st and 20. Now I don't understand that at all. You never chase downs, especially in that situation, especially when downs don't matter, especially when you've been getting your butt kicked all day on the defensive side of the football. You want to take them back as far as you can. 11 yards is nothing for that team to pick up. So there were some coaching decisions, but I'm not going to say Coach Prime got out coached. That team just got their ass kicked. That's just plain and simple. They just got their ass kicked.
There you go. Elsewhere around the top 25 rankings, Ohio State takes care of business. They were ranked number 2. We'll see. Probably kind of stay right where they are, but they handed Indiana their first loss, Matt. So both teams now 10-1, as Ohio State wins 38-15. We'll see where
that
Indiana
just shows you right there. Indiana's not ready. Like there's difference. There's a difference in the 9-0s. That they had, that Indiana had, and that's proof right there. The cream always rises to the top. 38-15. That game was never, ever, ever close at all.
Miami takes care of business as well as they get a big win over Wake Forest. We'll see where they place Miami now. They were ranked 8th heading into yesterday. Good old Ole Miss, Matt. Couldn't get it done against Florida as they dropped 24-17. We'll see what that does to Ole Miss. Illinois, they were right at the top of the rankings at number 25. They take care of Rutgers. Georgia absolutely demolishes Massachusetts 59-21. Tennessee gets a shutout over UTEP, Matt, 56-0. Texas, I don't want to say squeaks by Kentucky, but they get a win 31-14. Penn State, we'll say this, sneaks by Minnesota 26-25. Another upset meant Arizona State beats BYU 28-23. Arizona State was ranked 21, BYU at 14. We'll see how that gets shuffled around. Clemson was at 17. They win 51-14. South Carolina gets a win. Missouri ranked 23 gets a win. Notre Dame ranked 6th, takes care of number 19 Army. Boise State gets their win. And another kind of big upset, Matt. Alabama didn't even score a touchdown yesterday as they dropped to Oklahoma 24-3, and Texas A&M gets beat as well 43-41 in 4 overtimes, Matt. 4
of them. Auburn.
Crazy. Yeah. So
War Eagle.
we'll see what happens with the Aggies After that one in Iowa State, they get a win, and also UNLV, ranked 24th, gets a win. So we'll see what happens, Matt, as this, week 13, only a couple weeks away from
Not a yep.
bowls.
Not a good week
and
for the
college
SEC.
football. Yeah.
Not a good weekend for the SEC. Alabama goes down. A&M goes down. Ole Miss goes down. It's just what this does now is it muddles up the CFB playoffs. And now you're going to be looking at a lot of 2-loss, 3-loss teams potentially, where they're SEC teams, Big Ten. Like this is gonna. These teams losing this way is going to really muffle up that CFB, and to see where and how they decide to put those teams in there is going to be very, very interesting. We're going to get to that BYU Arizona State game in cold because there was some controversial stuff going on at the end of that game. I don't know if you saw that. Coach Willingham was pissed off at the end of that game. We'll get into more of that, but I'm excited to see what happens because this is where, like, I don't want to say like the rubber meets the road or anything, but they're going to have to make some decisions. They're going to have to make some decisions on some teams that you would be shocked that are not going to make this college football playoff.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how this is shaken up. We'll see a little bit of the outlook today or maybe tomorrow when the polls come out. So we will see what happens, Matt. Staying on the gridiron, I should say, number one on our fire list. I mean, speaking of consuming stuff, I mean, there is just NFL pretty much all week, Matt. Obviously, Thursday night kicked it off with an absolute crap game. Who would have ever thought? Cleveland gets a win. And there is, I would say, okay matchups coming into this week, Matt. You have the Vikings, Bears, big rivalry, Broncos at Raiders. I mean, the Chiefs are probably going to get their 10th win of the season traveling to Carolina. Most of this week is a lot of division matchups, Matt, so we will stay tuned for that. Playoff rematch, 49ers and Packers. And the Monday night game, Eagles and Rams, Sunday night, Eagles and Rams. Monday night is another Harbaugh, Matt. The Ravens will play the Chargers. So any games you're looking forward to today?
That San Francisco Packer game, of course. I'm all over that guy. I'm all over that one for personal reasons, and we got to see where this team's at. The Packers, they snuck by against your Bears last week. That was a fun, interesting game. That's one game that I'm really. Did you disown them? Are you done? That's probably the spirit. Yeah. I mean, Caleb Williams didn't look bad in that game, though. Got to throw him some kind of, Buccaneers, Giants. Are you interested to see if they get rid of Danny Dimes? Literally get rid of him.
Yeah.
And then now you got DeVito playing. Hell, Drew Lock might ask for his release as well. So the Giants, Buccaneers, that's going to be interesting. Cowboys, Commanders, interesting football game there. I want to see if the Texans bounce back because they have played like total dog water these past couple weeks. And my fantasy football team is dying because of that. So I want to see if Texans bounce back against a division rival in the 2-8 Titans. That's going to be an interesting game. Cardinals, Seahawks coming off that big dub against the 49ers last weekend, and they're going to play the best team in the West in the Arizona Cardinals. So a couple games I'm looking forward to are those ones that I want to see how that looks. And did Cleveland beating the Pittsburgh surprise you at all, or was that just kind of like a snow game? Like you said, like it was usually that games like those Thursday night games are crap. And I actually was watching that entire fourth quarter of that football game, mainly because it was snowing pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, Thursday night games are pretty much dog water anyway to begin with. And usually in the pool that I have, I usually pick the home team on Thursdays, and I almost went with Cleveland, man. I would have been the only one
Ooh.
who picked Cleveland because obviously Pittsburgh was on a bit of a run there. Russell Wilson was playing well, and
They just beat Baltimore. Yep.
yeah, they just beat Baltimore. They go to Cleveland, and not only Thursday night games are just weird anyway, but division games make it even weirder. So you have an AFC North battle between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. They're both used to snow. I mean, they both play in snow pretty much every season, so you would think that they're both kind of used to it. Yeah, it was weird. Like they showed like a screenshot of the third quarter, and then literally like 2 plays later, it's just covered in snow. That was crazy. So it was surprising, Matt, because Cleveland's terrible. Pittsburgh was getting hot, and they totally flip-flopped, it seemed. So crazy game. We touched on football basically all week, Matt. So this week 12 will end obviously tomorrow with Baltimore and the Chargers, but then we pick right back up on Thursday like we normally do, but it's a special Thursday, Matt. Like you said, we'll be stuffing our faces with turkey all day, and then you'll have 3 football games to watch. The early morning window, Matt, the Bears head into Detroit. That's an automatic loss for Chicago. You have a dog water trash game in the middle there with the Giants and Cowboys.
Oh, that's going to be terrible.
Absolute trash. That's maybe you want to take your nap then, slip into your food coma, and then come out of it, I guess, Matt, for another game that you should be interested in. The Dolphins and Packers are the nightcap there. So I would say pretty decent slate of games on Thanksgiving. The Lions are probably going to score 60 points in that game. I hope the Cowboys and Giants both lose if possible. Maybe a 3-3 tie is in our future.
Gross.
And then the Dolphins at Packers. But then you have a weird one on Friday night, Matt. Or Friday afternoon, I should say. It's a 1 p.m. game Mountain Time, so kind of weird. I guess if you're going Black Friday shopping, you can sneak it on your Amazon Prime app and ignoring your wife while you're shopping. So there you go. But it'll be the Raiders. So the Raiders will be coming off a very short week, and they'll play on Friday against the Chiefs, Matt. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs scored 50 points as well. Yeah. And then obviously you skip forward to Sunday and Monday. So basically, man, we have 3 days off of football, and then we'll pick it right back up. So a lot of football too. I guess the theme for today is just consuming, Matt. We're going to be consuming
turkey,
women's basketball. We'll
food.
be consuming football, consuming food. So a lot going on this week.
Yep, I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
So that should be a fun game. All right, Matt. We're going to sneak this in between fire and ice. But over this last week, the Major League Baseball Awards were announced. I don't know if you saw these. I don't know if you were surprised by any of it. But we will kind of start with the pull it with the Cy Young Award winners, Matt. Over in the American League, it was. Let me see. Tyreek Skubal from the Detroit Lions, Matt, as he had a league best 2.39 ERA. He had 18 wins, and he had 228 strikeouts, and it helped lead Detroit to a playoff berth. And then over in the National League, Matt, I don't know if this is much of a surprise, a resurgent season for Chris Sale, coming back from a lot of injuries and stuff like that. He also had 18 wins, 2.38 ERA, 225 strikeouts, helping the Braves this season as well. So those are your 2 Cy Young winners, Matt. Any shock or surprise there, or it's just a meh, cool?
It's meh cool because I got to be honest with you, Mike. I watched 2 baseball games this entire season. MLB baseball, anyway. It was very, very difficult for me to watch baseball this year. So yeah, for me. That Chris Sale's pretty good.
Same.
That's a good. I liked him. I've always liked him. So that's like that's something that kind of got me excited, I love to see. I love to see that is kind of the way I want to say that. But yeah, it was uh baseball was interesting for me this year. Let's just say that.
Or uninteresting, whatever.
Yes, I want a home team to root for.
Yeah, we
That's
don't
my
have
biggest problem, and we don't have that, Mike.
All right,
We don't have
rookies of the year, Matt. Luis Gill from the Yankees, pitcher, takes home the Rookie of the Year award. He had 15 wins, 171 strikeouts over 29 starts. Obviously, helped the Yankees get to the World Series. Over in the National League, Matt, Paul Skeens and his smoking hot girlfriend win Rookie of the Year in the National League. Skeens went 11-3. With a 1.96 ERA, Matt, and a rookie record 170 strikeouts for Pittsburgh. So those are your rookies of the year. Managers of the year, Matt. Here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. Stephen Vogt from the Cleveland Guardians
Oh, yep.
wins
Steven.
the AL Manager of the Year, helping Cleveland get to the ALCS. And over in the National League is Pat Murphy of the Milwaukee Brewers.
It's Algonquin.
93 wins, Matt, only to lose in the wild card round. So
Wow, congratulations, guys.
there you go. And obviously the biggest award, probably the MVP award. Both of them unanimous. Obviously in the National League, Matt, you have Shohei Ohtani.
Okay. Yeah.
How about this? Only the second player in MLB history, Matt, to win MVP in both leagues. Can you name the first one?
Oh, no, I don't know if I can. I want to say something like Barry Bonds or something like that. Maybe like Mark McGuire or.
I'll give you a hint. It was way before we were born.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson. See, I could have threw that out.
Frankie.
I could have thrown that out.
Frankie Robinson, the
Old
the only
Frank.
other player to do it. But Shohei Ohtani, his first season in the National League, again, unanimous. First player ever to hit 50 homers and steal 50 bases in a season. He also hit 310 with
And he didn't pitch at
how
all.
about this? The first full-time DH to win the award, Matt. So
That's wild right there. Not to even hold a glove.
yeah.
Not even to hold a glove.
It's a glove.
No glove.
No glove, no love, man. I'm telling you.
No. But in this case, no glove. He got a lot of love.
Yeah, he did. He wears batting gloves, I guess.
I guess you can count that. Yeah.
All right, over in the and also obviously helped the Dodgers make it and win the World Series. The team they beat in the World Series, one of their guys won the American League MVP, and it was all rise. Aaron Judge wins the American League MVP.
Shocker.
I mean, if he didn't win the American League MVP, Matt, something's wrong. But obviously unanimous.
Yeah.
It's his second MVP award in 3 years, by the way. He hit 58 home runs, man, 144 RBIs. Man, he batted .332.
Yeah.
Usually, like power hitters like that, you're kind of in like the 260 range. But Judge was getting on base. And obviously, of course, helped the Yankees get through the American League all the way to the World Series.
Tremendous baseball player. Yep.
He did get a lot of slack for the way he hit in the World Series, which wasn't much, unfortunately.
Yeah, if at all, right? Jeez.
Yeah, I was again rooting for both teams to lose, so we did not get that.
One day we will get what we want.
I don't know. All right, Matt. Over in the ice list, what do you got for us?
Let's start out with officiating in the college football officiating, Mike. I don't know if you've been really into this or seeing what is going on in college football or the officials. We have watched, if you're watching Colorado Buffaloes, we have seen throughout the weeks issues with tortillas being thrown on the field, issues with water bottles being thrown on the field, issue with dirty play,
just dirty undergarments, but
dirty undergarment play, nobody doing their laundry, dirty socks. There's just a lot of things going on out there, and yesterday was a big one. Like I mentioned, down there in Arizona State, there was an issue I don't know what Arizona State was doing, actually, to be honest with you, because they on that last go round, and I was trying to look for that play, but they were in a big issue there, trying to find trying to end the game. The coach was on the field at the end of the game and just losing his brain. Let me try to find it here for everybody so we can see.
By the way, speaking of officiating, were you surprised that Shedeur Sanders didn't get tossed?
That's yeah. Or we're gonna get yeah.
It was almost an inadvertent push on the referee, but
it was that's something that you should never be in that issue or that situation, and they were.
And this is not even really close to what you're talking about, but I don't know if you saw Fred VanVleet in the NBA on Houston, Matt.
Oh yeah, he
got called for an offensive foul and pointed at every referee and said, "You suck, you suck." And then one referee tossed him out, and he literally went right up to him, finger in his face, and called him a bitch. Classic.
That was awesome. But
it looked
here,
like he touched him. It looked like he touched him too. It looks like he slapped him a little bit.
It did. It did look goofy. It did look.
He's gonna get fined.
He's gonna get something's gonna happen to him.
Go watch that. If you haven't seen the video, go watch it.
It's crazy, but here's
it's hilarious.
Yeah, and he points right at him in his face too. He points at him.
Calls him.
But this is the Arizona State. Calls him the B word. Drops the B. But this was at the end of Arizona State. We're not gonna play the sound, obviously, because there's a lot of stuff. But as you can see here, Kenny Dillingham was kind of ticked off. I mean, he's pissed off here. Why it's not playing? It's not. Come on, let's play. And there's no way. This is the officials are around here, and they're going to tell him, no, hey, there's 1 second left. There's 1 second left on the clock. See, there's the official right there, and he's losing his absolute mind. So the exact thing that happened here.
At least the fan base is backing him up.
And his wife is over here somewhere too. I think that's his wife right there in the yellow. That's his wife. And she's like, oh my God, get me out of here. But that's what we had. And to close that game, I don't know what they were doing. It's like they were going backwards. And then the fourth down play, when they ended the fourth down play, they were trying to run the clock out, just literally run the clock out. And they never did. So it became I hate these freaking ads.
There you go. You can get some knives.
We need some knives. But so it came to be like, just like, what are you guys doing at the end of the game? So here's the end of the game here. They're trying to run it out. And it was just a situation where I don't think Kenny Dillingham will do this again, and he'll just kneel on it or do something to get rid of it. And I think we'll go from there. But the whole thing was just crazy. It was just absolute crazy. But here's the Shedeur play, if I can find it right here. Right here. Let's go with this one. This one was dirty. And then right here, they beat him up. This is the one. See, there's 45 again.
This is where he pushed the refs.
This is where he pushes the refs. He gets up and he pushes the officials. And the situation here, as an official, you're told one time to get out there and you're told to separate colors, right? So you're separating white from blue in this situation. Well, like Shedeur is very, very lucky that center judge didn't reach in his pocket and pull out the flag. But look at him. He's getting mauled, and he was getting mauled the entire game. He was getting destroyed the whole game.
They called it questionable, during, being it live, they called it questionable targeting penalty on Shiloh Sanders, and they went and reviewed it, and they deemed it wasn't targeting.
Right.
I think if you fly like that and take out the quarterback's knees like that, I mean, that should.
And that's this guy right. I agree 100%. And this guy right here, this punk ass right here, 45 Miller is the one that did it, and he's in there again. He would have been tossed out of the game. There should have been 2 penalty flags in this situation. In my opinion, there should have been offsetting penalties in this situation. You should have got 94 here with the rollover, and then you get Shador, or maybe there was another one another number that I saw, because as an official, you're just looking at numbers and you're writing down numbers. See right here, when Shador pushes him, you can get a penalty on him. You can get a penalty on 94. Hell,
And
you can even ding 44 here, and even
really
McGee, but you can get all these guys.
Good thing really none of the officials saw it live, because the guy he pushed,
it's wild. It's wild that yeah. And this game in particular was getting out of hand. It was getting out of hand, and there was a lot of things going on in that football game that the officials started to kind of lose. What they were doing, Kansas was being dirty on Shador. Kansas, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be dirty, you shouldn't play that way, that's a bad way to play. I'm not saying that at all. Be dirty, whatever. If that's you, do you. But the officials, they could have had some cases where they could have got involved, especially throwing a flag or picking up that play on Shador by 45 where he goes at his knees, because that was dirty as hell. But that was an incident where the officiating lost control of that game, I felt like. And I'm not even talking about like throwing flags for different penalties. I'm mostly talking about losing control of the game. You saw the Arizona State, like I showed that a little bit. They lost control in that game. I don't think there's ever a situation, and I know that you go back and look at it, but you can't, after all that, you can't bring the teams back out onto the field to run a 1-second play. That is terrible game management. Terrible game management by whoever you and I know it's different because you can't just, in high school football where there's not a TV, or there's you can be like, no, the clock ran out. But in this situation, you have to go back, look, well, there was 1 second, we got to go back. No, there's got to be something that you pull rank and say, we are not going back out there for a 1-second play to cause all kinds of drama again. We're not going to do it. So the officiating has been in the crosshairs, and the most important thing that I've noticed this season is them losing control of the game. Losing control of games. They do things right by throwing a flag and then reviewing the targeting like they did on Shiloh. There should have been something for that Shador hit, and in that situation, like they could have been really bad. Could have been really, really bad in that game.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting what the color guy Brock Heward brought up. He said the officials are allowed to go out there and use their hands on players, but if you touch a referee, it's game over.
Typically it is,
and
right.
And the officials, I mean, like you said, when skirmishes like this break out, you saw the ref backing up like that, not using his hands when he got inadvertently or on purpose got pushed by Shador. So is it kind of backwards that refs can use their hands to shove players away from each other, shove players here and there? Or should they do what that ref did and just kind of intervene and get in the middle without pushing guys?
See, I like for me, I'm fine with peeling off piles. Like, again, like separating colors, peeling off piles, like you're gone, you're out of the pile, you're out, stuff like that. So, and watching to make sure there's no dirty stuff in there. But I've never, in my opinion, you do your best to separate them, but those are big boys. And they start getting they don't look at what they're throwing at. They don't look at. I understand they're still college kids, and they're still kids, so to speak. But they're big adults, pretty much adult males as far as stature goes. And as an official in that situation, like you can't. I don't feel like putting yourself in that situation to get pushed on and to get a flag. I feel like there should have been a flag thrown in that situation, but as at the same time, it's tough on officials when it gets to separating guys like that and trying to keep them from fighting. When you actually put your hands on another player, or you physically move or disperse other players, you are putting yourself in that danger zone. You're putting yourself to get physically hit in one way or another. So as an official, there are certain ways to do that, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the way the official handled that, but I would have did it differently to avoid being contacted by that player, but Shador should have absolutely got a penalty flag for what he did. And also 45, that punk ass 45 should have got a penalty flag for doing what he did. And then he subsequently would have got another flag if they would have did it the way I would have done, and they would have tossed his ass out of the game.
There you go. I do want to show this Fred VanVleet because
Yeah. It was, I saw it last night. It was great.
I was literally laughing at it. And listen to the announcers as well. Here you go.
Picked up lead by Kamara, trying to draw the foul. Threw up a wild shot that had no chance of going in. Ahead to Sharp, got hacked by Thompson.
This might be
The play that we see Fred get
kind of started.
make a lot of time.
Yeah, here he is. He's rumbling here. Yep.
Contact went into his shot, and
So this is where it began kind of a.
And he's telling him, I'm not over there.
spot up.
And he's
So
right
this is
there.
where the offensive foul happened.
That's not going to do it.
Wow.
That will not get it done. And Portland,
So Fred VanVleet
Bouncing
right there,
back
at number
after getting
5,
blown
pointing
out
at the
last
refs,
night.
pointing at the refs.
they're going to get this win.
You suck, you suck, you suck.
Now, Fred VanVleet was
Good
just
pitch.
thrown out of the
Good
game.
pitch.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
There you go.
Fred has got to
Yep.
be. Hopefully, he didn't make contact.
There's going to be some kind of a fine for sure. Some kind of a fine if he hasn't already been fined for sure. Might even be suspended for a couple games. I don't know.
I mean, if he touched the ref on his way out there, it's over.
Yeah. If he pointed in his, like he touched him with his finger, it's he's got a big, he's in trouble.
All right.
But
staying-
officiating overall college football, it has not been the greatest this year. And the last night was another example of losing control, or yesterday losing control.
All right, staying on the hardwood here. Our boy, Matt, our buddy's at it again. Duke boys is at it again. The old butt sniffer, Joel Embiid,
Oh my God.
has not only pretty much pissed off every NBA fan out there, Matt, but now he's pissing off his teammates. I guess they had a team-only meeting, Matt, and usually like team-only meetings, without coaches, whatever, they usually end pretty well. They seem to get the message when their own guys are kind of frustrated, heated, sending a good message. But it leaked out that Tyrese Maxey was kind of frustrated with Embiid, saying, he's late to team functions, he's late to team sanctioned whatever meetings, practices. It didn't really go into detail about what he was late for, but Embiid now is pissed that this information got out, and he said whoever leaked this information is a piece of crap, and crap was not the word he used.
Nope.
And I'm like, dude, the only really piece of crap person on that team is you. And then he misses another game yesterday, Matt. I mean, he stole an MVP away 2 seasons ago. I don't know, Matt. I don't know what. And then his first game back last week, Matt, he literally gets screened and like somehow falls back 5 feet after a 6'1" guard runs into him. So
I do you know how I feel about this guy?
Yeah.
His talent on the basketball court and the things that he can do is undeniable. They are world class, up into that top tier of being the best in the league. But that's not who he is. That's not the kind of player that guy is. And I keep saying this over and over again. That's not Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is who you're seeing. Joel Embiid is a clown. Joel Embiid plays basketball on the floor. He even flops on the free throw line. And I know that there's like Philly fans that are coming and saying he always does that. He doesn't always do that. He doesn't always flop on the free throw line.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw I don't know if it was a meme or just the caption for him flopping. I mean, I think he missed the free throw, and they're like, his first reaction is just to flop. Yeah, it's instinctual.
He's probably a poster child of entitlement, of player entitlement. Like, he comes into the league injured, hurts, doesn't play, sets the league on fire a little bit with what he can do. Unstoppable, dominant defensive, offensive force, blah, 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 blah. Then he gets hurt again. Then he's out more games. And then now he's upset. He's not upset that he does this, because this stuff has been going on for a while. Him being late for meetings, him doing the stuff that he does has been going on for a while, and Maxie's just pissed off. He's done with it. And he was the one that told somebody. He was the one that blabbered. That, like, if there's not it was Maxie. Okay, it was him that came out, and like, if we're not looking at it the way we need to be looking, if we're right, it was him.
Yeah, Maxie basically dry snitched on himself.
On that whole team. And Paul George is pissed off about it. Reggie Jackson was pissed off about it, but they're not pissed off about the fact that this is what your quote unquote superstar, your MVP, your cornerstone player, this is what he does. This is what he acts like. This is what he brings into this franchise. This is why this team is like this, is because of this guy. That's why. That's why your team is in the turmoil it is because this is who your superstar is. Like, there's no difference there's no looking anywhere else. There's no being mad at the guy who said it. It's like the big man or Stink always says, Mark Schlereth, this dude's pointing the finger when he needs to pull the thumb. Like, that's what this guy's doing. And until he does that, he's not. It's Philly's dog water, man. I kind of sort of feel sorry for Philly fans, but then I don't, because a lot of Philly fans drive me freaking crazy, and I think they deserve everything they're getting.
Yeah,
but there are some Philly fans I have a soft spot in my heart for. And
I hope our colleagues Zach and Dante from Paisan Sports had earmuffs on.
I hope they're okay.
Yeah, and not only that, Philadelphia 3-12 right now. And then you have those fans or whoever saying, well, he's got to be valuable if he's not playing in Philadelphia is trash. There is an argument to that, Matt. I mean, he doesn't play.
Are you serious?
I mean, Philadelphia is obviously better when Embiid is playing, but
he doesn't play.
He doesn't play.
He doesn't play.
They should just get used to him not playing, and they'll be better off. Now, Paul George hyperextended his knee. He's going to be out for a period. He's the one I feel bad for, Matt, because he seems like a good dude. If you watch his podcast, seems like a chill guy.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the rookie who's on Philadelphia. He's like
McCann. Jared McCann.
McCann's averaging like 26 points per game right now as a rookie. I don't know if you saw the clip of Paul George. He had actually our former homeboy Reggie Jackson on his podcast.
Yep.
He goes,
saw that.
He's like, McCann cannot be the most consistent guy on our team.
Not a rookie. No.
Yeah. But at least he's stepping up when, that next man up mentality. Paul George is out, Embiid is out, Maxey was out for a while, and he stepped up, Matt. So I guess good on him. But, now Philadelphia almost bottom of the barrel in terms of standings in the league, Matt. They have the second worst record behind Washington. Washington's 2-12, Philly's 3-12. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks if and when they get guys back, but it's not looking good for the Sixers.
If I'm Sixer fan, I'm rooting for whatever situation that puts my team in a position to draft Cooper Flagg, because that's kind of where this team should be looking. There was some trade odds that came out, and they were looking at the best place for Embiid to end up was Indiana, or New York was on there too, I think.
They had like one, the Bleacher Report, whoever puts out these like trade scenarios. They had him and somebody going to Milwaukee for Giannis and somebody else, and they were like, "Who says no?" And you know how they always say, "Who says no? Who would say no to this?" And then everybody in the comments said all of Wisconsin.
Would say hell no.
Yeah,
because they got their own problems with Giannis.
They've kind of been turning the ship around, but
a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they moved up. They're fifth in the East.
Right. Well, and it's Eastern Conference, and then also too, real quick, while we can get on this is kind of like, I don't know how you feel about this, but they're talking about getting rid of the East and West and having the top 16 teams just play in the playoffs.
That's kind of cool.
It would, yeah, and I mean,
they can keep East and West, but yeah, just when it comes to playoffs,
separate, just put one through. And I think that they should do that anyway. Like, I think there's the reseeding should happen or something. Like, they should do something to where they get you use the conference standings to determine the seeding, but then you get reseeded as when you go in. Like because I don't like the fact that how they like. I've always thought that the 1 seed should always play the highest seed should always play the lowest seed. Doesn't matter if it's if the what bracket you were in, and if you're the 3 seed playing like you should always play the low seed, in my opinion. Like if the 8 seed, if the 3 seed beat whatever the 6 seed that they would be playing, and the 8 seed beat the 1 seed, and the 2 seed lost, then the 3 seed should play the 8 seed instead of going down the brackets like they do. So I think they should do something with that, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if they do that. We'll see.
Yeah, there's also news they're going to hopefully and obviously change the All-Star format as well, because speaking of trash and dog water and butt sniffing, the All-Star game in the NBA
it's terrible.
is just terrible. I liked how they did the Steph Curry and that Sabrina Ionescu 3-point contest. They're looking to do like a 2-on-2 in 3-point contest. So, and I don't know if you heard Sabrina say they asked her who she'd pick if they went to 2-on-2, and her obvious choice was our girl Cece. So,
oh yeah, if you don't pick Cece, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but yeah, Cece's the girl. But yeah, this is crazy.
Before we move on, Matt, Cavs did lose a game while in our
Boston
since our last meeting, but still 16-1. So there you go.
Boom.
By the way, I went to that Nuggets Dallas game on Friday night. Hell of a game. Klay Thompson, by the way, 0 for 8 in that game. So I don't know if he's. Someone should check on him. Because now, you're without Luka. Dallas has fallen all the way to 9th in the West. Meanwhile, Golden State sits on top of the Western Conference at 12-4, and it seems like they're doing okay without one of their Splash Brothers, Matt. So.
Yeah, they'll be okay. You could tell who the piece and who the piece is centered around at Golden State for sure.
All right, Matt, what do you got for number 1 on the ice list?
NFL quarterbacks have been absolutely terrible this season. I don't know if you feel the same way I do, but I have been on this for a couple years now, and this season it's just getting even worse. Not only do we get Daniel Jones let's just go down it right now, okay? Who was the first person to get benched? You had Bryce Young get benched in Carolina because he's terrible. Now he's back.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson got benched because he was terrible. Then Joe Flacco comes out. He's even more terrible. Oh, we got to go back to Anthony Richardson. You had what's his name? Trevor Lawrence get benched. I know there was kind of some injuries there, maybe potentially, but you could say that they just benched him. The coach is going to get fired. You had I almost called him Mac Jones playing over there. Dak Prescott was having a terrible.
Yeah, he was trash before he got hurt.
Terrible season. Highest paid quarterback in the league. Terrible season. He gets hurt. He's out. Cooper Rush is playing. Daniel Jones, terrible season. They pay him. Then they're like, nah, we're going to bench you. They got him playing backup safety on the scout team. Asked for his release. He gets released. Who's the next one to go now? Aaron freaking Rodgers is being talked about not only being benched, but there's a chance he could be released as well.
Was it the owner or the GM that wanted him benched, or who wanted him benched and then?
Well, the GM's fired. The GM got fired.
So the GM wanted him benched, didn't it? And they're like, "No, you're fired."
But then, yeah, and then now he comes out and he's saying that I'm he's looking like he's even coming out and saying he doesn't want to be a part of the Jets anymore after they just traded for Devontae Adams to satisfy him. Like there's all these things where it's like, we did this for you, dude, and now you want out. So he might get released. I don't know if he will. He might. And then you got, the situation that you had in Pittsburgh, which is starting to look okay between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. You got Caleb Williams in Chicago. They're blaming.
They're already labeling him a bust.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're labeling him a bust, and they're blaming the coaching staff for not being able to develop him.
Well, yeah. And then they fired the offensive coordinator.
They fire the offensive coordinator. Then you go look, you flip over to, you had issues in New England with Jacoby Brissett and then now you got Drake May taking over. Then you look at Houston. CJ Stroud was tremendous last year. He has taken a step way back for whatever reason. The only quarterbacks that we have that are viable in the NFL that we can watch coming from and this is another reason why I think NFL viewership or NFL fandom is down in general, because the quarterbacks are dog water. Even though Mina Kimes says it's the best, it's not. It's terrible when all you have to put your name on is Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson.
And now you got really two good rookie quarterbacks rising to the top.
You got those, but that's still they're still
Daniels
rookies.
And Bo Nix.
They're coming, but they're still rookies.
And you talk about dog water. Brock Purdy's now hurt.
Purdy's hurt. I was just going to say that.
You
had San Francisco's situation in their quarterback, and he's hurt. You got Sam Darnold filling in admirably for a hurt JJ McCarthy. Then I was just going to go into the Tua Tagovailoa situation in Miami.
He's come back actually pretty strong after his.
And he's come back pretty good. And then there's who else? There's and you got Matt Stafford, who is hanging on for dear life to his career.
The Angels, Matt Stafford
in Los Angeles. He's hanging on for dear life to his career. You got Jared Goff that throws 5 interceptions the week before, then comes back and throws 2 incomplete passes. Like the quarterbacking in the NFL is just so, I don't know if bad is the right word, but it's a good word to describe it. I think inconsistently bad is the best way to put it. It's either inconsistent or it's bad. Even Pat Mahomes is having a down year statistically. Statistically, he's having a down year.
What about up in Cleveland, though? You got.
Oh, God.
Crab
Did
eater.
you see him, like, when he does his victory or his speeches to go into halftime? It's like a wrestling. He's like the Ultimate Warrior cutting wrestler promos. Nobody knows what the hell he's saying. Nobody has any clue. He's like Rosie Perez saying, when you win, sometimes you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win. And when I say I'm thirsty, it means I want you to, it doesn't mean go get me a glass of water. It means I want you to also say that you understand that I'm thirsty. Like this dude, it's just wild that these are the personalities we have at quarterback in the NFL. Gone are the days of Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger. Hell, Kurt Warner was in there too. Aaron Rodgers when he was number 12, not number 8. I mean, you just go back to just the guys, the personalities, the players that we used to have. We used to get excited to see this team play this team because of who was at quarterback. Now it's like, I'm going to get ready to go watch Geno Smith and Kyler Murray battle it out. I'm going to get ready to go watch Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson on a Thursday night. Cooper Rush versus Jaden Daniels today. Like this, that's what we got. And Jalen Hurts, is Jalen Hurts a top tier quarterback? No.
No, but he's doing good for me fantasy wise.
Fantasy wise, yeah. But Saquon's the savior of that freaking football team. So there's no quarterback outside of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Pat Mahomes that you can.
Speaking of dog water, is Jerry O'Connell still the quarterback for the Raiders?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Or is it?
No, it's
is it still football Jesus over there?
It's O'Connell. The last I looked, it was O'Connell. And in Dallas, I don't know what the hell they're doing in Dallas. You have an opportunity to try Trey Lance. Give him a shot. But no, we're gonna go with Cooper Rush because he's just one of my favorites. I like him. He kind of reminds me of my grandson. I used to take my grandson for ice cream down at the store and what'd you say? I'm gonna fire you. You can't. Jerry Jones is losing his brain over there. It's football is in a terrible state of quarterbacks, and even the good ones aren't as good as they used to be. Pat Mahomes, like I said, is having a bad year. Josh Allen, do you trust Josh Allen in the playoffs? I don't. It's just, and then you got Joe Burrow, who's playing for a dog butt Kansas or Cincinnati team that is having statistically a decent season, but it doesn't translate to the win-loss record. So how can you say he's having a great season when he's not? Doesn't translate to wins. It's not translating to wins, and you got your star receiver Jamar Chase pissed off. Like, this is what we're going through. It's just the NFL is in shambles in certain ways. It's just in shambles.
Yeah, it's kind of
basketball's back, Mike. I'm just glad basketball's back.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny to see, situations like the Jets. They're just, they make all these moves, bring in Aaron, and just in shambles, Matt.
They're terrible. They're so bad. Like, they have a good that running back Breece Hall. My goodness, he's good. Can't get him going.
Yeah, and then you trade
Sauce
away.
Gardner looks like just plain sauce.
Yeah, he used to be hot sauce. Now he's kind of mild. So
he's Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah.
Horsey sauce,
good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I had the other day? I had a giant roast beef from Arby's. Feels like an Arby's night, and it was fantastic. I don't know if you do fast food, but Arby's.
I'm not an Arby's person. Not an.
No,
Arby's.
You're not. See,
no.
I used to get so excited for 5 for $5 when they'd have a 5 for $5 deal, and I would lose my brain. I tell my wife, like, it's 5 for $5 night, honey. I'm gonna go get Arby's roast beef sandwiches, and she looked at me like I was insane.
A lot of people would.
But it was tremendous. And then you get the au jus sauce, and you dip the roast beef into the au jus sauce. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna tell you my secrets to being fat. Ain't gonna happen.
Well, we got a glimpse. On where Matt goes on a Friday night.
Feels like an Arby's night.
Got the meats. But that's going to do it for us here on the Wheelhouse. And good day of, I say good day with a grain of salt. It's a good day of football today, hopefully. But we will have a ton of football to get to next week. If we don't take our own little Thanksgiving break next week, we'll see what happens. And so enjoy your week, enjoy your day of football. Hopefully the quarterbacks won't be as bad as we're making them out to be, but just a lot of interesting matchups today. Like we mentioned, a lot of division rival games, a lot of just terrible quarterback play.
It's going to be bad. That's why it's terrible. That's why these games are tough to watch, because I'm watching Dorian. I'm watching this. Like, I can't even. I'm just.
Yeah,
and then and you have to get excited about him too. You have to be like, oh, he's got a third chance here with this team. He could be really good here. Really?
Hey, change of scenery does everything.
And then also too, there's no more Rich Gannons, there's no more Elvis Gervbacks, there's no more Trent Greens where they can go to different teams and have an impact. There's no more of those guys. Those guys don't exist either.
Gus Frerotte, Steve Berline.
There's no Ferrets, no Steve Beerlines. There's no those guys don't exist anymore. They're not out there. It's just because I remember that one year the Raiders had Rich Gannon, and then he goes to Kansas City, and then we got to deal with freaking Rich Gannon in Kansas City and
wasn't he the quarterback of the Raiders when they went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, yep, he was. And then when Kansas City was real good, there was Trent Green, that he was there, and he was playing really good quarterback for Kansas City, and it was just like where did these guys come from?
They don't make Mark Bulgers like they used to.
They do not make Mark Bulgers like they. There's no
Sam Bradfords out there anymore.
There's no Sam Bradfords. You could go trade 4 number 1 draft picks 3 times. I think he got traded for like 6 total draft picks, but all the times he got traded, there was like 3 or 4 first round draft picks that were involved in the trade for that guy.
Crazy.
Oh God, what are we doing?
They don't make Vinny Testaverdes like they used to.
No, they don't. They don't make Mark Brunells anymore. There's no more Mark Brunells.
Nope.
It's
Not
just
anymore.
nope. No Trent Dilfers, no Matt Hasselbacks or Tim Hasselbacks.
Yeah. Hasselby.
There's no more of those guys. They don't exist anymore, man. No Tony Romos. Phillip Rivers is out of the league.
I was just say Romo only played for one team though.
He did.
I was just say Peyton Manning though. He had a pretty good bounce back. By the way, some of the semifinalists for the Football Hall of Fame came out a couple of days ago, Matt. I don't know if you really say who headlines this class, Matt, but speaking of Manning, Eli Manning's on there. And I don't know if you remember what your homie Cam Newton said a couple months ago. He said if Eli gets a gold jacket before I do, basically something's wrong. So I commented on this post, man, and I said Eli Manning is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 1-time beating the undefeated Patriots.
He's Tom Brady's dad.
Cam Newton didn't dive on a loose ball in the Super Bowl after getting destroyed by Von Miller. You did nothing. Cam Newton, you did nothing. You won an MVP. Woohoo.
In a year where God. Eli's
Eli's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer. You can't look at what the Giants did and how they did it and say Eli Manning didn't have a big impact on that. Yeah. That defense was really, really good, and the way they won football games was awesome. You had Bradshaw, and you had who was that other big back that they just pounded you with? You
remember the catches by Mario Manningham, and who was the dude who caught it on Rodney Harrison?
David Tyree.
Wasn't it Tyree? The helmet catch.
You had Odell Beckham Jr. there.
I don't know if he won a Super Bowl though.
No, he never won a Super Bowl, but he was there.
Yeah, he had that one catch against Dallas. That one was that a Thanksgiving? No, I don't think that was a Thanksgiving game.
I don't know. Was it?
I don't remember.
It was nasty though.
Yeah.
But gone are those days too. The Giants are in shambles. The Cowboys are in shambles. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, why is that game on Thanksgiving?
What Dallas is the NFL? It's not.
Dallas is not America's team anymore. Sorry.
And I mean, you can't just blame the quarterbacks. Like some of these teams and these franchises, they just don't know what the hell they're doing anymore. They have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
No more Ozzie Newsomes.
No.
Ron Wolfs.
John Elway.
Hell, even John Elway for a couple years was freaking great.
Yeah, he was.
Oh boy,
he was. But we're gonna get on out of here. Thank you for tuning in, listening. Don't forget to go like, subscribe all of our socials. Again, Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and go to our home base, e5280sports.com, where you can get all of that content in one space. But once again, that's going to do it for us. Hope you have a safe and good Thanksgiving this week. Short work week for a lot of us. Maybe no work all week for a lot of you out there.
You know who's not going to work this week? This guy.
Heck yeah.
He's off.
He's
off the whole week.
Can you imagine getting paid like $200 million to not do anything?
No, I would not know what that's like because I couldn't do something. Like your whole career, the whole reason why you exist right now is to play professional basketball, and you're injured.
He's one of many reasons why I was un-American during the Olympics and wanted the U.S. team to lose.
Because there's nothing about him that says American. There's nothing he does that gets you excited about America.
Well, he's lazy. Americans are lazy.
Yeah, that's true. He's lazy and overweight. That is true. That is American. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go.
And he goes back and forth to different, he tries to pick different teams so that, Americans do that too. So maybe he's more American than we are. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a change of scenery will do him good. You never know. Maybe we'll say they just don't make Joel Embiid like they used to.
No, I think they don't make NBA basketball players like they used to. American NBA basketball players.
That's fact. That's straight facts.
Straight facts, homie.
Yep. All right, we're gonna get out of here. The Nuggets are still the Lakers' daddy, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Wheelhouse on Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle for Matt Mascarenas. I am Michael Spoon. We will talk to you next week.